When Rickert slapped Griffith, a lot of people celebrated. I was one of those people. But after a few years after that chapter dropped, I finally get the whole gravity of the situation. What if I told you that Rickert's slap was the secret to defeating Griffith, destroying Griffith and his whole kingdom, and giving us the cue to how Guts and the gang can destroy Griffith? Now, I'm not going lying to you when I say this, but this is genuinely, and in my opinion, I think this is genuinely the most important moment in Berserk. Now, the Eclipse and Guts getting the Dragon Slayer are up there, but this is the most important moment in Berserk, and I wholeheartedly believe that. And I think this opinion is definitely going to be proven right in the coming chapters of Berserk. So, without further ado, let's just get into how Rickert's slap could help us defeat Griffith. Look at the reasons why the slap happened, look at the reasons how the slap happened, and exactly how we could use this to our advantage. Let's get started. So, I started rethinking about this chapter when I finally read the latest Berserk chapter, that would be chapter 371, where Griffith returns from Elfhelm with Casca in hand and he returns back to his kingdom in Midland. Now, this made me think, how did, after everything that Guts has been through, how did he still not able to kill Griffith? How was his Dragon Slayer sword not even able to pass through Griffith? When Rickert's simple hand passed through Griffith so hard that his entire kingdom could hear that shit. And Rickert's hand doesn't even have any magical properties. Guts' Dragon Slayer has been through so many apostles that it could literally pass through ghosts and stuff, because apparently it can just kill people on the astral plane now, because it's been through so much apostle blood, I guess, and it's just seeped into the sword and it's made it magical. But now Rickert's hand is just normal, regular human hand. How could a normal human regular hand just pass through Griffith's whole mystical barrier thing that was protecting him, making him godlike? How could that happen? Now, I have multiple reasons for why this could happen, and all of them can help us decide how we can defeat Griffith in the end of Berserk. So let's look at the reasons, shall we? Reason number one of why I think Rickert's hand did more damage to Griffith than Guts ever did in his entire life after Griffith became the member of his god hand is that Griffith actually let this happen. Now, what do I mean by this? I'm saying that Griffith consented to being slapped like a little bitch, and he let this happen rather than show off his godlike powers in front of everyone around him and everyone that he loved. I mean, think about the setting of where this slap happened. Griffith was surrounded by the people that love him the most, like Princess Charlotte, Sonia, Mule, and the Pontiff. All of these people believe in Griffith. And let me be more clear, they believe in a mortal Griffith. They believe in a Griffith with no powers. They just think that Griffith has been chosen by God or the Holy Falcon or whatever religion that they have. But they think that Griffith is still a mortal being that has been chosen by their deity to do something amazing, and that is to save Falconia. Now, if Griffith had let Rickert's hand pass through him, or if he had activated his psychic powers and thrown Rickert across the room, this whole image would be destroyed, and Griffith's whole mortal persona would just be shattered, and his biggest supporters would just turn into his biggest enemies. Griffith didn't want that. So, in order to not let this happen, Griffith just let Rickert slap him. And this can be proven by the fact that even the guards came after Rickert and Griffith just stopped him and just let him go, because he knew that Rickert couldn't do any more damage to him. And that letting Rickert slap him once would be more than enough to let Rickert just leave. Now, this theory might actually just be the most likely one, but we could still use this information against Griffith. What does this tell us about Griffith? It tells us that Griffith is still willing to harm himself in order to help the people around him believe in himself more. And that if we hold certain people in Griffith's life hostage, we could even make Griffith pay for what he has actually done. Now, do I think that Griffith actually likes these people and loves them in the normal sense? Nah, Griffith is a genuine monster at this point, even though he doesn't look like it. And he's just using Charlotte and Sonia and all the people around him in his own kingdom like puppets to fulfill his own demented dream of having a kingdom and having an empire. But that doesn't mean that we can't still hold these people captive, hold these people hostage in order to destroy Griffith's ambitions. And if we destroy Griffith's ambitions, then his entire motivation to still be on this earth will be gone. So, yes, I still think that we could still use this against Griffith. We could still hold hostages against Griffith because Griffith clearly has some value for the people around him. And anything we have over Griffith could actually be very useful. So even the most minuscule hostage like Sonia or even Charlotte could be big in helping us destroy Griffith. Secondly, and I think this is the most accurate way of how Berserk is going to end, and this is going to be the reason why Rickert actually hurt Griffith. I think that Griffith literally cannot see other people's intentions. Now, what do I mean by this? I think that Griffith thought that Rickert would be friendly, that Rickert would listen to him and join the band of the Hawk. But Rickert proved him wrong. Rickert did the one thing that literally no one in the history of Berserk could do. He actually surprised Femto. Now, up until this point, if you actually thought that Femto or Griffith was this all knowing, all powerful being that could see everything, I won't exactly blame you. But moments like this actually disprove that whole theory that Griffith might actually not be all knowing. And there is still some part of Griffith that thinks that he is this master manipulator of people. But that will be the very thing that leads to his downfall. Griffith lets his guard down around people that he thinks are friendly towards him, and we could really use this against him. If Guts and the gang could convince anyone who Griffith really trusts, like Charlotte or Sonia, or even one of his apostle friends like Zod, I think they could genuinely catch Griffith unguarded. This is the reason that Rickert also could hit Griffith. Griffith thought that Rickert would say yes and join him in that moment where he asked him to forsake the old band of the Hawk and join his new one. But Rickert made an unexpected move and slapped Griffith across the face, damaging him. Now, what does this mean? If this theory is true, then the ending of Griffith's journey will be betrayal. Betrayal at the hands of Charlotte, Sonia, or even like this brace yourself. Like this could be an amazing theory. Casca. Now Griffith trusts Casca. Griffith likes Casca. Griffith even went all the way to Elfhelm, brought Casca, kidnapped her, destroyed all of Elfhelm, and brought her back. That means he really, really trusts Casca. Now, how amazing would that be? That as Guts and Griffith are fighting, Casca sneaks up from behind him, and Griffith thinks that finally Casca is going to join him. Casca is going to be one with him. Casca is going to help destroy Guts once and for all. And Casca just swipes at Griffith, stabs him in the chest, and that is the moment when Griffith finally becomes at his weakest. And that is the moment where Guts just cuts his head off with Dragon Slayer. Now that is my headcanon ending for Berserk. If Berserk just doesn't continue any further, that will be my default ending for Berserk. That Casca finally stands up to Griffith, stabs him, and Guts and Casca both kill Griffith. They both, the two final survivors of the eclipse, get revenge on the person who wronged them the most. And Casca finally gets over her trauma once and for all. I really think that this is how Berserk is going to end. Not only because this is the natural way of things, but Kentaro Miura himself, before passing on, said this that Berserk would have a happy ending. And what's more happy than Guts and Casca finally reuniting after killing Griffith? I mean, that has to be the most natural point for ending the series. Like, Casca is right there at Falconia. Guts is definitely going to come back after her, and there's definitely going to be one final fight of Guts versus Griffith. And I really doubt that Guts is going to win. So Casca has to be the one to deal the killing blow on Griffith, destroy his ego, destroy his everything in a shocking reveal. This would mean that Casca would have to kill the Moonlight Boy inside of Griffith, her own child, and say goodbye to her only chance at happiness for a new beginning with Guts. Out of all the reasons why Rickert slap is the most important moment in Berserk, this is my favorite one. But let's move on to number 3. Now, I think we all know that Rickert is definitely not as powerful as Griffith. I mean, Griffith is a literal demigod, so it can't be that Rickert literally just overpowered Griffith in that moment, as much as we like to think it does. I feel like another reason why Rickert would actually harm Griffith was because he didn't actually want to harm Griffith. Now you're thinking that I had a stroke, but no. I think that Rickert could slap Griffith because he didn't actively try to harm Griffith. He just wanted to slap him. Like just think about it for a moment. In the moment where Rickert slaps Griffith, he says that he didn't exactly feel any anger towards Griffith. He didn't exactly feel any joy in hitting Griffith either. He said it himself. He's just unable to hate Griffith. So this means that if you actually not try to harm Griffith, you could actually harm Griffith. Like if you try to harm Griffith by thinking feelings of hatred or feelings of anger against him, then you won't be able to hit him. But if you attack Griffith with feelings of nothing, just feeling nothing at all, you could actually harm him. I think emotions are a big part of the Berserk universe. I think that the magic and the fact that Guts is able to just turn into this complete beast and just pile through a bunch of people with his inhuman strength, that's all on the emotions. Emotions are like the most touched on part in Berserk. Godo touches on emotions. Casca touches on emotions. Like everyone talks about how they're feeling in Berserk. If you noticed, Kentaro Miura put so much effort into making the emotions of his characters look plausible and look emotive. He clearly cared about the emotional impacts of everything in his story. So it makes sense that emotions would be the key to killing Griffith. The man who just can't feel any love because he's immortal. He's a god. He doesn't need to feel love or hatred or anything. So in order to kill Griffith, you have to feel like Griffith. No rage and no hatred. Just nothing. Just like Rickard felt on that bridge. Now, I think this is the most abstract reason why I think Rickard was able to slap Griffith. And it's definitely on the more introspective and emotional parts of Berserk, and that there is no mystical or physically dominating way to kill Griffith. Like you just have to master yourself and your own emotions in order to destroy a member of a god hand. You have to think the exact opposite of a god hand. Now, what does a god hand represent in the Berserk universe? A god hand represents excess. They are the demons that represent the sins in Berserk. The the overindulgence of sin in Berserk. So obviously the key to destroying these overindulging demons would be to just not feel anything and to never indulge in any emotion at all, as it would just make them stronger. Hence, the key to destroying Griffith will be for Guts to master his own rage, to forgive Griffith if it comes to shove. Out of all the reasons, I think this is the least likely one, but I don't know. I think it's a lot more artistic than the all the other reasons combined. I think that this might actually have something to do with killing Griffith, but I don't think this will be the main reason of what kills Griffith. Anyway, those are the three reasons why I think Rickert could actually harm Griffith while Guts couldn't. And let me know what you guys think. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.